In this video, I'm going to be showing examples of the 3 looping conditions that can be used in Java programming and showing example programs of how each one's utilized. So now turning to the presentation screen, my first sample program I have here is going to be a demonstration of a for loop. So I start out, I have my program here where I'm going to say this program is adding the following values. And then I come to my for loop. Now my for loop, I'm going to loop where x is equal to 1 and then go through x less than 11 plus x. And then I'm going to display the value and then I'm going to add it to my variable here called sum. In this particular case, this for loop is set up to where x is my loop variable. It starts with a value of 1 and then it will loop through the values of 1 through 10, and then it will exit out of the loop. Because once x is equal to 11, then the loop condition is met and this for loop will end. So this will loop from 1 to 1 less than 11, which is 10, so it'll loop 10 times. Each time it'll add the value of x to sum. And then at the end, I'm going to display the output here and show what my sum is added up to. And then this is going to be the screen output. This program is adding the following values. And notice here, 1 through 10. And that's right here where I'm doing the print statement, displaying each number as I go through, and then adding it to sum. And then the sum is 55, which is the sum of the numbers 1 through 10. Now my next example here, this is going to be showing a while loop. Now a while loop is a conditional loop, so it means that this loop will run until I tell it to stop. And I start here, I start with a Boolean condition called inProgram, which is set to false. And then I'm going to be entering a name and getting a response. Obviously, I'm going to be using a scanner for keyboard input. That's going to be my object that's used to retrieve the user's input that they type in. So I start out here, while not end program, which says while as long as the end program here is false, this loop will continue to execute. So then I say here, enter the user name, and they type in right there, and they put in a user's name. And then I ask them, would you like to enter another name? And they can put Y or N for yes or no, and I retrieve their response. And then here I say, if response equals N, then N program will be equal to true. And what this program will do is the while loop will loop through this block of code until they put an N here as their response, and then N program will be set to true, and then the while loop will end. And I got an example here of screen output. In this particular case, they enter a name and then enter another name and they say Y. So it loops back a second time, enter a name, then say enter another name. This time they say no. Now when they put in the N there, that will make the end program true. And the next time we come back to the while loop, it will see that end program is now true, and then it'll exit out of that loop. My final example here, I took the same program and converted it into a do-while loop, which a do-while loop works similar to a regular while loop, except that it will check the condition at the end of the loop instead of the beginning, which means that a do-while loop is always guaranteed to run at least once. Whereas my original while loop from the first program, if the end program variable here is set to true before you get to the while loop, it may not run at all. This example here, you're guaranteed it will always run at least once. And I have the same type of setup here with the same data. I say enter the username, they enter a name. Then I say, would you like to enter another name? They say Y or N. If they put an N, then it makes N program true, and then the while loop there will exit out. And I have my sample screen output here, where I say, enter the username. Do you want to enter another? They say Y, then it goes and loops again. And then, do you want to enter another? This time they say no, so then it sets N program to true, and it hits the while statement at the bottom and exits out of that loop.